Welcome to Daily Life Connection. Thanks for joining us again today. Today we're going to take a look at God the Religious Critic. God the Religious Critic. And it's sort of a continuation from where we were yesterday, from Matthew chapter 23. The reality is, Jesus was most critical of the religious proponents in his day. The religious adherents of his day got his most negative attention, if you will. And I think we need to look at this because we need to look at ourselves too and make sure we never veer off towards a religious kind of relationship to God and think that that's the way to him. He was constantly a religious critic. Well, what do we mean by religion in that day and religion in our day? Basically, it boils down to what God wants most, what God requires of you is certain standard of behavior. And if you achieve that, then you will earn his favor, or you will have his favor, and his blessing will be released to you. So they look at that being the basis of religion. And so then it means that those who are religious have a mission to call out sin, avoid sinners, and call people to comply with the standards and commandments and rules and regulations of God as they see them. All right? And so that's how religion operates, or that's what religion forces us into. If we believe that the most important thing to God is our behavior, and that is the determining factor in our relationship with him, then we will find ourselves doing those things, calling out sinners, calling out sin in our world, and calling our world to return to the standards of God. And they will vary depending on the particular religious organization, what we consider to be the important regulations of God. And Jesus is just so hard on that. He just calls that out and says, woe unto you. How sorry it's going to be for you when you finally figure out that's not what I was after. You know, and he just criticizes them so strongly. He calls them blind. He calls them like graves full of rotten dead man's bones. And yet, you know, because religion, you see, the only power religion has is to dress up the outside. You know, on the surface, it can make us look like we are living in compliance with God's regulations and laws. So, yeah, you know, that's, and maybe another day we need to talk a little bit about that, the God of regulations and laws, because he does give us instructions all through the Word. We'll look at that another day, the importance of that. But right now we're looking at when we turn those into being the priority, then we find ourselves under God's woe. We find ourselves as defined as religious. And those are the people God opposes through Jesus more than anything else. He basically says, through his interactions with them, that what they as religionists are doing is more damaging to the world than what the irreligious sinners are doing. That's pretty shocking, isn't it? Because what is really important to God, and if you've been listening to these at all, you know what I'm going to say. Relationship. Relationship. And relationship comes through trust, not through performance. Not through performance. You see, how sad it would be if I said, you can be my friend if you'll do this and this and this and this, and you don't do this and you don't do this and you don't do this, then you can be my friend. We would look and say, what's wrong with you? Friendship isn't based on performance like that. Friendship is based on trusting each other, valuing each other. And that's exactly what Jesus came to do. He came to say, what's most important to Father is that you value him enough to trust him. That's it. It's that simple, and it's that profound. He is the God who is the religious critic, not the religious booster. He does not approve religion. He does not applaud it. He does not want to try and tweak it. He doesn't want to just make it a little better. He doesn't want to start a new religion. He wants people in relationship. bottom line. And that's really, really good news for you and I, because it means we don't have bars that we have to get over and hoops that we have to jump through in order to gain his favor and his blessing and entrance into his kingdom. That's why I believe Jesus said to these very same people, the prostitutes and tax collectors are entering the kingdom of heaven ahead of you, because they just trusted him. And he's saying, there's the gate. That's the gate they come in. It's a narrow little gate, just simple trust. Whereas you're trying to go through the gate with all these rules and regulations, and it doesn't work that way. The God who's a religious critic. Well, let's think about that and rejoice in it today, because it sets us free from that performance. And we'll talk again tomorrow. God bless.